What's good, family? I am hoping that my subscribers can come back on. Yeah, I'm very sorry I had to go. My mom just walked in. I gave her a spare key and she can just come into my house anytime she wants. And yeah, I didn't want to freak her out that I'm on YouTube. Yeah, so I'm back, and I will continue my topic on why African Americans should move to Australia. There's so many similarities between Australia and the United States of America, but I find it a better place to live here in Australia than the United States. Life is much more favorable here than the United States for African Americans, or say black people in general. Before I took off, I was talking about the opportunities here for African Americans. Australia is a nation that is still growing. The population of Australia is 25 million people, compared to the United States. It's approaching 400 million people. So it's about, by 2035 they estimated the population of Australia will double, right, to say 50 million people. And these 50 million people are not going to be born in Australia. The average birth rate in Australia is 1.2 children per home. So these growth in population is going to come from overseas, and I'm guessing it's mostly going to come from Europe and Asia, especially from China. So this is a very, very good opportunity for Africans and African Americans to find it an alternative to move to Australia. The city of Melbourne, every day I drive to work, there's a lot of improvement going on. There are tunnels being built to accommodate for the high volumes of traffic. And they're preparing to accommodate the growth of Australia, and they started now. So I find it very important that I make this video to educate the family out there that Australia is open. Australia is open to immigrants and migrants especially from a country that already has a really, really good relationship with Australia, which is the United States. The United States is Australia's second biggest trading partner. And it's also a military tie or an ally. They're both in the same bed together, I would say, but that's a different story. That's a different topic to talk about. But when it comes to the opportunities here in Australia, the jobs, plenty of jobs out there. There's plenty of opportunities for small businesses. Because Australia is growing, there's a lot of jobs in construction, and if you have a trade in construction, engineering, skills in plumbing, you do really well here. You can have a small business and go about and achieve great things. So one few more things that I'd like to discuss. When I went away, I wrote down a few things. I already spoke about the opportunities here in terms of job availability and everything else to help you, assimilate into the society. The number one thing which should be an advantage for an African American is that English is the national language here. So you wouldn't have a language barrier compared to someone coming from China. Okay, you have a full advantage over someone coming from China. And because of the relationship between Australia and the United States of America, you are favorable for job positions if you have really good qualification. If you're qualified for the job, I don't see why you shouldn't get the job. You will be preferred over anybody else. So it is a very, very good opportunity for African Americans to see the world beyond the horizon. To explore. Australia's far, yes. Australia's far. It's about a flight to Sydney from California. Los Angeles is about 14 hours, but you can make it. All right. Everything here is so beautiful. It's amazing that in 2018 we have the internet where you can just hop on the internet and see amazing things all over the world. And I'm sure you can see the amazing things here in Australia. And Australia is so welcoming. It's so welcoming to everybody. So I want to get the word out there to my brothers and sisters, my family in the United States. Please consider moving to Australia and joining me here, because I'm all alone here. It's really sad that before I took off, I was talking about the population of black people here in Australia. It's less than 1%, roughly about 0.7%. We need to come here and contribute to this country and be part of this country's history and legacy. It would be very nice to have a black population of Australia to be at least 10%. 10% of the population of Australia would be very nice. But so yeah, in 2035, I am hoping, I am praying that African Americans do take the opportunity to move here, because it's the government's initiative to bring people to Australia. A small nation like this cannot compete on the world stage with nations like China, with 1 billion people. It's when you have cities like Tokyo having about 30 plus million people, and the biggest city in Australia is about less than 5 million people. So a lot of these people are going to find other avenues, other places to go live. And Australia is so welcoming. These people are going to come here, and if African Americans are not making the initiative, they're not making the move to move, and explore their horizons, you miss out. I don't want you to miss out. I don't want the family to miss out. Okay, so that was part of the opportunities that I'm talking about. And next thing is education. Okay, Australia is a beautiful place for you, or a perfect place for someone who is interested in having families. And when you have your family here in Australia, you're looked after. The government looks after you. Education is key to everything. And Australia boasts about its leadership in education. The top universities here in Australia, and I attended the Swinburne University of Science and Technology, which is one of the top 10 universities in the world, and Swinburne is, I think, the third top university in Australia. And there's so many universities, Australian universities, that have made it to the world stage. And primary education is free. Secondary education is free. Tertiary education is subsidized through a program called HEX, where the government you take loans. Okay, you take loans, and I'm sure the United States has similar programs. You take loans here to further your education, and once you graduate, you don't pay anything back until you start making about $50,000 per annum. So the opportunities here is amazing. It's really amazing in terms of education. Now, when it comes to healthcare is one of the biggest things of consideration at the moment. I know there's so many debates about the healthcare in America, but Australia, the healthcare system here is perfect. Okay, well, it's near perfect. Okay, the rebates for healthcare. You have a Medicare system here that allows you to visit the GP. Not that I go see the GP often. I rarely fall sick. It's so good here in Australia. I barely fall sick. I do suffer hay fever, but this time it's spring now, so my sinus goes crazy a bit. But I do have nasal spray that I use, and I survive. But aside that, I barely fall sick. I'm very fit. I'm very athletic. So the Australian government looks after you. Okay, our population is very small. It's very manageable. So the government really invests into healthcare of the citizens. So there are other private healthcare that you can take as well to help yourself. I think your GP visit is about $60, and when you have your healthcare, you can visit the GP for free. Well, I don't believe anything's for free, but it's subsidized through the tax. Okay, and Australia is one of the nations that have the highest, taxes. Citizens pay very high taxes here, but it's really important that the taxes go towards all the benefits that you get as a citizen. So people are happy to pay the taxes. People work hard. Australians work really hard. It's very amazing that Australia's population of 25 million people living in a country about the same size as the United States, can achieve so much, and build this country to be a first world country, and it just happened in the last 20 years through the influx of migrants, mainly Europeans and Chinese. But migrants are always good for the economy, because migrants come, the only thing in their mind is to work hard and live like everybody else. Everyone wants to work hard and afford a nice standard of living. So migrants come, they've set up businesses. A lot of the small businesses across Australia are established by migrants. So I don't see why African Americans can't come here and do the same thing. Myself, I do have my own personal business that I'm doing, and I do have a full-time job as well, but I do. So Yeah, next, I mean, I spoke about how beautiful Australia is. You know, we've got the best beaches. You know, people talk about sharks, but you know, there's sharks in America, right? Right, they everything that you consider as danger, okay, in Australia is in the United States as well. So it's all about being safe wherever you go. And I mean, you just live it, fulfilling life. I spoke about job opportunities. What else did I want to? I spoke about English language. Look, it's really easy. It's not that bad. Like a country like China, you cannot have citizenship. Okay, but in Australia, you're qualified to have citizenship or permanent residency when you spend about 5 years here without committing a crime. You know, you once you have your Australian passport, it allows you to visit majority of the countries in the world. You know, a country like Japan, you can stay there for 3 months without a visa, and I'm sure you can do that in the United States and definitely the UK. Okay, you basically a citizen in UK if you have an Australian passport. So the benefits of moving to Australia is astronomical. Okay, people see you as a beautiful person if you come from Australia. People love you. You know, people love you. So it's very, very important that African Americans take the opportunity to move here and increase the black population in Australia. Okay, that's one of my main concern is that the black population will be drowned in the sea of new migrants coming from Europe in the next 20 years. So please African Americans, move to Australia. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about, but I thought I wrote it down. But I didn't. About the healthcare as well. There's something we call concessions as well. If you're a low income earner, you have concession cards that you can use, that you get a percentage of things that you're buying, especially medical stuff. Your drugs get a percentage of transportation. You get a percentage of your travel costs. And Australia is one country that you can, as a worker, you can file for tax returns. You know, and if you make losses in your businesses, you can claim it back on tax. So I mean, it overall it's one of the most beautiful places to live in the world, and overall Australia is ahead of the United States when it comes to the happiness level of the citizens. You know, I think Australia is in the top 10 most happiest nation. So you want to really consider this offer. It is an offer. You know, in the next 20 years, imagine your life in the next 20 years. Can you imagine yourself achieving something somewhere else other than the United States of America, wherever you live? Can you imagine that you move to Australia and you establish a small business, and in the next 20 years, when Australia's population is about 50 million people, your business has grown? I think it would be a very, very wonderful thing, you know. So It's my small way of contributing to Black YouTube. You know, I find it that in a time like this where everyone is criticizing Philip Scott of the Advice TV show, you know, I'll come in with a positive message, you know, to uplift the community. And it's all about us building, we Black people building and growing, you know, be contenders of greatness and not tearing each other down all the time. You know, it's 2018, 2019 soon. You know, we need to grow up. Basically, we need to grow up and be a force to reckon with, you know, as a people, because we've survived this far. You know, we've survived this far. We can't just give up. You know, so I'm still struggling to remember what I actually wanted to say. I think I remember now. What I wanted to say is, you know, when you move to Australia, you are not, should I say, you won't be a stranger. Okay, you won't be a stranger because of the English language, because of Australia's affiliation with the United States, and thirdly, there are almost about 100,000 Americans permanently living in Australia. 100,000 Americans living in Australia. So there are already Americans living here. All right, they have made Australia home. So Australians are already used to Americans. Australians love Americans. Everywhere I go, people think I'm American. I do switch my accent a bit sometimes. They think I'm American. They think I'm Canadian. There's no hostility towards me at all. People just love me. People just want to talk to me. So you are very, very welcome, you know, to move to Australia. So consider this again as a great offer. You know, in 20 years, please make it a mission. Hi Doug. What's up, family? Thanks for joining the live show. I think I'm just about done here, but I don't know. Have you got any question for me? I have purposefully kept beating. You there, Doug? If you've got a question for me, I've got 3 people watching. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Drino's channel. all right, bro. Just think of it. Think of any question to ask me. Let's keep the show going. All right. So yeah. So I'm not new on YouTube. I've been on YouTube since 2006, since I was a teenager. So I have been soaking in all the lectures, all the big people, you know, of YouTube, all the Sarah Sultan Setis, all the what do we call them, Brother Polites, you know, Brother Jabaris, all these people, you know. I've been listening to their lectures, you know. Dr. Ben, Azra Crazy. Yeah, it's really fun, you know. And we have all of these knowledge and history, you know. But what do we do with that? Where do we go from there? From here, you know, gaining all this knowledge, you know. We build with the knowledge that we've attained, you know. It's, you know, knowledge plus action, you know, is wisdom, you know. You need to put what you know into action. That makes you, that sets you apart from everybody else. You know, so yeah. Come on, guys. Any questions, please? Keep me going. Any questions? Come on. So, I hope you can hear me clearly, though. Hope I am clear. Yeah. Okay. How the people treat you there? I said this in the first part 1. All right. Australia is beautiful. Like I have been, you know. My family moved here in 2001. You know, almost 20 years. I haven't faced any so I haven't faced any sort of racism. You know, in my definition of racism, you know, which I understand is it's based on economics. When you are deprived of attaining the same level of economic empowerment as everybody else, okay, when you are denied that, that's racism. All right, but when someone calls you you black monkey or stupid black man, I don't see that as racism. I think that's stupidity. They're two different things, because that person insulting me doesn't change anything about me. That person insulting me doesn't take my money away from me. Okay, like I have every opportunity as everybody else here to make it, you know, and thankfully I haven't come across anybody like that. I haven't come across anybody like that. When I was a teenager, I was quite fierce, actually. I can't chat now. Okay. All right. I'll talk. I'll do the talking. Yeah. So I was quite fierce when I was a teenager. You know, I always looked moody. Didn't want to talk to anybody. So people would just walk to me. Oh, do you smile? And I'll give them a smile. But I always look angry. But nobody really came to me and wanted to fight with me. Nobody did that, you know. And it's really surprising that here in Australia, black people see you and they don't even say hi to you if you're black. You know, I found that really strange. You know, the black people are so quiet. They don't engage in anything. They're so quiet and about their business, which is a good thing, because they stay away from the spotlight. But you know, we need to engage. We need to interact with the community. You know, and that I have grown up. You know, I'm wiser. I engage in the community. I say hi to people. When I'm driving, I see a black man, I merge, you know, side by side. And make sure this black man sees me, and I salute, you know, give him a smile, you know, let him feel happy, you know, and this is what I do. These are things that I do because my life is so good here. I work hard, I achieve everything. I built this house myself, you know, 2 years ago. I built this house myself. I've got a 5-bedroom house, you know, so I live here by myself. So it's for future investment. I'll live here for a couple of years, and then it's a new estate that I live in. When the estate develops, okay, I will consider renting it out and moving somewhere else and doing the same thing. So here in Australia, I mean, property is having property is the best investment you can ever have. You know, I consider it as a business. You can have just having properties, okay, using properties as your business portfolio, you know. So it's what people do here, you know. It's what a lot of people that have made it here in Australia have made it off properties, construction, and it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop because in 20 years, okay, imagine the population of Australia being 50 million. Okay. Did you say you built your own house? Yes, sir. I did. I did build my own house. You know, I bought the land myself. You know, I got my own builder. I built the house through the builder. My business is in installation. Okay, so I insulated the house myself. All the walls are insulated. You know, it does get very hot here in summer, and in winter it does get very cold. We go into the minus threes. So you would want your house to be warm in winter and then cool in summer. So I took pride in putting the insulation in the house myself. You know, so yeah, and it's not hard. It's not difficult to do. The house, my house is 20 kilometers from the city, and 15 minutes drive. You know, it's quite expensive. It was quite expensive to buy. The land was quite expensive to buy, but the building wasn't too expensive. So I saw it as a business opportunity. In the next 5 years, because of its close proximity to the city, okay, my house will be worth $1 million. Okay, it is already estimated $800,000. That's the cost of my house. So I'm in a very, very good position at the moment. You know, so yeah, I work hard for it, and I think everyone else can do the same. Everyone can do the same, especially coming from the United States with the level of education that you have. Yeah, with the level of education that you have, you can achieve anything here in Australia, brother and sisters. You can achieve everything. All right. Is there anything else? I've got 2 people watching. Who else wants to ask a question? Who else wants to? Well, when it comes to women, you know where I stand, dog. You know where I stand when it comes to women. You know, I am not for racism. Okay. I come from a background of mixed people. Okay, Australia prides on diversity. Australia's past was very racist. Okay, but unlike the United States, right? Australia have embraced the black side. Okay, they're still working on improving their living conditions. They're still poor, but the government is doing things. Okay, the previous governments have neglected them, and they're sort of like in a spiral of destruction, self-destruction. But the government is doing everything possible to help them out. Like, these people get free education, they have the right to employment, right to everything. Okay, and so Australia is a very, very good place for black people, but you know, people can say Australians are racist. It's political. Okay, it's political. Australians are fearful of terrorists and all these things, so they have all these conditions and policies out there that sound very, very unwelcoming to people, or races, or people, especially people of religious backgrounds of Islam. Okay, they don't like Muslims for particular reasons. Okay, but not all Muslims are like that. Okay, but slowly, you know, right across the street from me, there's a Muslim school. I think that's the first ever Muslim school in Australia, in Melbourne. I'm not too sure of the history, but I mean, it's so multicultural. Like, even everyone goes to that school. Even I think non-Muslims can also go to that school. Diversity is really beautiful. It's a very beautiful thing in Australia. And in the next 20 years, okay, Australia's gonna be so diverse, so diverse. Okay, it's gonna be so mixed. So when it comes to women in Australia, my options are open to everything and everyone. Okay, I love everyone the same. I love everyone who loves me back, and I like brother Phil. I will not be a hypocrite, right? Okay, I'll tell you, because Australia's population is 93% white. Thanks, brother, Lim. Because Australia's population is 93% white, okay, my chances of meeting women, okay, it's 93% white women. All right, and it's funny that growing up, going to school, catching the bus to school, the train, black people don't talk to me. White people, black girls don't talk to me. No, but every weekend or every time on the train, I'm just expecting that a white person will walk to me, invite me to a party. A white chick will invite me to a party, and it happens every Friday on the bus. They just walk to me and get my number, like, oh, hey dude, there's a party, do you want to come? You want to come party with us? So it's just and us being black, your population here is very low, so you stand out. Yeah, Phil of the Advice Show. Yeah. I'm not a hypocrite, okay, but I love everybody else. I take my opportunities as they come, okay, when they present themselves. My love goes to everybody, because I grew up differently, okay. I see the world in a different light, and if my chance is with an Asian woman, I'll go for it. If my chance is with a white woman, I'll go for it. All right, and I don't really see racism the way Americans see it. I see racism as economic based. So I'll be honest with you, if I should marry, it won't be because of the skin color. Okay, it will be about merits. Okay, I'm thinking about who is going to contribute to my life. I've already achieved so much. Okay, I'm not going to stoop low for anybody. Okay, if you don't work hard, you don't deserve to be in my life. Okay, so I'm going to have a partner, if not greater than me. Okay. Who the Aboriginal call themselves? And this is really hard. I'm not too sure, but Aboriginal people, they call themselves black people. Okay, they love to call themselves black people. They're proud to call themselves black people. Okay, but the Australians call them Aboriginal people, but I think that term is wrong. I met a lady when that was telling me like ab. When you put ab as a prefix, as in like abnormal, which doesn't mean normal. I mean, which it doesn't really sound good. And she was trying to explain to me. I need to get back to her and get a real understanding. But the proper name to call them is the original people, not aboriginal. So aboriginal could mean that not original. But these people have been here for over 60,000 years. 60,000 years. The population, before the Europeans arrived, the population was estimated to be about 700,000 people. 7,500 people. But the population have shrunk to less than 300,000 people as of today. And they kind of like dying. I hate that word, but it's they're going extinct because they've taken to alcoholism and drug abuse, substance abuse, sniffing of petrol. They get high off sniffing of petrol. There was a story where Aboriginal teenagers broke into an airfield. Okay, and they sniffed the petrol, the fuel off the airplanes. This is how sad it is now for these people, and their life expectancy is about 45 years or so. And Aboriginal people have the highest level of suicide here because they're not happy. Their way of life have been taken away from them. But believe me, don't believe any propaganda. Okay, the Australian government is doing everything possible because these people are always under scrutiny by the media, and Australia's media doesn't take, the Australian population don't stand for BS. A lot of them speak out, and it is really good. I myself, I'm not politically inclined. I don't have any affiliation to the politics here, but I know quite a lot about the politics. Just because Australia is not independent yet, Australia is still a British subject. Okay, our head of state is the Queen. So as long as the Queen is alive, are there any Aboriginals in a political position of influence? Actually, yes. There was one last year. There was one. The first ever Aboriginal person made it to the Parliament, and it was a woman. So yeah, there's progress. When it comes to Australia, we have the British Union Jack, which is the current Australian flag, but that flag usually flies side by side with the Aboriginal flag as well, which is the RBG, the black color, the color that all black people understand, the red, black, and green, RBG. The version of the Aboriginal RBG is the red, gold, and black, which ties them to the land. They're people that are proud of their land and proud to be black. So yeah. So if you're black, Australia is definitely the place for you. You feel at home. It's really sad that there aren't many here in Melbourne. There aren't many Aboriginal people, but when you move outside Melbourne, you meet them. You meet Aboriginal people, and they're so happy to see you. If you're a black person, they're so happy to see you. And the girls are very cute, but it's a shame that you don't find them here in Melbourne. You have to go 150 kilometers away to meet a lot of these Aboriginal people. We do have a large population of the islanders here as well, the Torres Strait Islanders, people from Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, Solomon Islands, New Zealand, Samoa. They're here as well, and they're seen in the same light as black people. So there's plenty of company. When it comes to politics, it's always been a discussion. You know, it's being proposed to the Queen lately that Australia gets independence, and right after that, you know, the Australian flag will be changed. So yeah. I've actually been tempted lately to register to vote, but yeah, you know, the political arena in Australia is very weird. You know, it's because it's not a we don't have presidents here, and it's not a presidential term, so your prime ministers can be ousted at any time. Okay, I missed this comment. Alright, so have you been to New Zealand? Yes, I have been to New Zealand. It's so beautiful. Otorua, that's the name of New Zealand. New Zealand is so beautiful. I went there in 2011. The funny thing, right? I was in New Zealand in 2011, right after the big earthquake in 2010, September 2010. They had a 7.3, which partially destroyed Christchurch and knocked down a spire on top of the cathedral. So I went to see all that. I have photos and everything, and Christchurch was still intact. You could ride the train. I mean the tram and everything in Christchurch. But whilst I was there, they still had you know, aftershocks and everything. So I was in this building. There was this aftershock, and we all thought it was an earthquake. So we all had to run out. But I was there for a month actually. I stayed in New Zealand for a month. I traveled through Christchurch. I caught the bus all the way to Invercargill, Dunedin, Queenstown. Queenstown has so much adventure there. Yeah, and then I came back to Christchurch, stayed there for a bit, and caught the bus again to Picton. There I met a Korean friend who bought me lunch. Okay, this is how beautiful the world is, right? When you travel. Okay, this Korean guy I have never met before, right? He's been living in New Zealand, working holidays in New Zealand for about a year. Okay, he met me. He was so thrilled, right? This guy said, "I'll show you around. Hop in my car." He drove me around town. You know, he bought me lunch. You know, and we exchanged contacts. And a year later, I went to Korea and I met him. You know, he embraced me. It was so beautiful. But anyway, so I caught a ferry from Picton to Wellington. I stayed in Wellington for a bit. Went to Hamilton. And then stayed in Auckland, and then I flew back to Melbourne. But overall, New Zealand is very beautiful. It's a very small country, and you love it. Okay, you love it. There's a huge population of New Zealanders in Australia, so it's it's about time, you know, New Zealanders just join with Australia, or we just go take it over. You know, but a lot of New Zealanders, our economy is bigger than New Zealand, so a lot of New Zealanders prefer to come and work in Australia, and Australians can go to stay in New Zealand indefinitely, but we are not allowed to own property there because our economy is really high, and we to say we have a lot more money than them, and when we come, we can buy off the place and throw their economy, you know, overboard. So they don't really want that. But yeah, what was the next question? I didn't know black people were allowed to live there. A friend of mine went, "What are you talking about, bro? New Zealand?" Told me black people could only stay for 6 months period. Where are you talking about? In New Zealand or Australia? If you have Australian, if you are Australian, if you have Australian passport, you can live in New Zealand indefinitely. You know, yeah. Same as New Zealanders can live in Australia indefinitely. So, yeah. You can stay here permanently, Doug. You can. So if you have American passport, you can. It's very easy. It's like the American passport is like a trump card. If you have that passport, you can. I mean, you can move to Australia so easily. You know. You like your preferred immigrant. although Australian, there was a poll about how Australians feel about Americans in general, and it was about 46 to, you know, what was it? I forgot the statistics, but there was only 2% margin between how people feel about the United States, and there was about 44% of people felt that they have negative perception about. No, 46% of people have negative perception about Americans, and 44% of people have positive perception about Americans in general. But you know, Americans live here. Nobody bothers them. I mean, you see them a lot. You know, you see them a lot. I once dated an American girl from Philly. When I was a teenager, there was this girl that went to my school. She was from Philadelphia, but this girl was so colorist. She told me I was too dark, but then she was the same skin tone as I was. Well, probably because my skin tone changes. Like, it's winter now, so I'm a little lighter. But in summer, I love to go in the sun. I love to go play soccer. I go surfing. I'm a surfer dude, by the way. I go surfing, so I put on a lot of tan. And yeah, unfortunately, these girls here are shocking, really. So yeah, when it comes to black girls in Australia, if you think you can come to Australia and get black girls that easily, think again. All right. Think again. So, any more questions? All right. So I guess everyone is leaving. I've only got one person still here. So is it Doug still here, or? Are you still here, Doug? Is you still here, Lim? Uh-oh. Yeah. All right. So I think somebody else is back. Yeah. There was one question that I missed from Lim. It was about, does it hail in Australia? Yeah. It does hail here, and it snows as well. All right. Oh, you're driving, brother. Drive safe. I'm happy to keep you company and entertain you. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it hails here. It snows here. Although it hasn't snowed in Melbourne for about 50 years, I think. Since no, it won't be 50. I was told since the 70s, but it hasn't. But it does hail here. You know, there's been serious hailstorms though a few years ago, I think in 2012, on a Melbourne Cup Day, yeah, which is coming soon, actually next month, the first Tuesday in November. Okay, we have a Cup Day. I think one of them wealthiest. I think it's the wealthiest horse racing, whatever cup, in the world. It's held here in Australia. I think it's called the Emirates Cup. Yeah. So on that day, 6 years ago, okay, there was a huge hailstorm, which followed with a lot of rain, and it caused a lot of flooding because the hailstones were so much that they blocked all the drains. Okay, and the city was flooded, and the hailstones were as big as golf balls. So imagine people. So it was just a freak storm. One thing you know about Melbourne is it's called the city of four weathers. So you experience in one day. You can experience winter, summer, spring, and everything, all in one day. So it started off with a really nice warm day. People dressed up in the summer outfit, spring outfit, nice warm day, and then all of a sudden a cold front moves in, and you have a hailstorm and unpredicted weather. So yeah, these people, white people, right? They were belted with the hailstones. They came up with bruises everywhere. They were not wearing really good clothes, to protect them. So yeah, people really suffered. But yeah, the weather here can change anytime because of the Southern Ocean, our close proximity to Antarctica. So so Melbourne is very, very notorious for such weather condition. Yeah, so. And it's funny that Tasmania, which is below Australia, below Melbourne, doesn't suffer the same fate as Melbourne. It's so weird. It's very, very strange. Because we're close to the desert as well, and then we're close to the Southern Ocean. So it's just a battle here when it comes to the weather. So yeah, just about a few minutes drive, an hour's drive from Melbourne City, you get to the mountains, and it snows in the mountains, so you can go skiing in the mountains, and there's so many skiing destinations. Yeah, so what else to talk about? Yeah, guys, invite your African Americans, channels to come in and let's talk. It's business time. It's business time. This is what building is all about. This is what building is all about. Building relationships. I am experiencing something great in my life, and I love to share with everybody else. That looks like me. Come to Australia. Visit Australia. Surround yourself with positive people, positive-minded people. So if you don't want to move to Africa, okay, move to Australia. You'll be treated really well here. The standard of living here in Australia is really, really good. It's very, very high. It's very, very high. But you can afford it. There's always job opportunities. If you are really hardworking, if you're prepared to work for it, there's always work for you to do. Trucks are, the lifeline of Australia, because we don't have really good rail networks through Australia. I think Australia's really huge, right? And about 80% of Australia is the desert. So all these places that are reached is through shipping, and trucks. So there's plenty of work in the trucks industry. Driving trucks. And if you're an engineer, there's plenty of work in a mechanic. plenty of work in diesel mechanics, you know, working with diesel trucks and stuff like that. So yeah, plenty of job opportunities here for African Americans and black people. So yeah, make your way here. All right. Anything else? Oh, jeez, I've been here 1 hour. Is that how it is? Time is just flying here. All right, cool. I'm happy I stayed for 1 hour. It's a pleasure. You know, it's great. I didn't know I'll be able to do 1 hour of live stream because I'm such a you know, a novice. So I'm still learning. I'm not perfect yet. It's about 20 minutes to 10 p.m. So it's 9:40 p.m. here. Friday. 9:40 p.m. Friday. So yeah, I know one thing that you Americans don't like is that Australia is ahead of you. But yeah, you just have to live with it. You know, we see the day before you. So yeah, 7:39 a.m. Yeah, so I assume that's about East Coast, Doug? East Coast, right? Yeah, so I know, I think California is about 18 hours behind. So yeah, that's almost a whole day behind, bro. So yeah, we celebrate New Year's Day before you guys. So the best thing is we can watch our fireworks and then come watch yours. So yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, that's right. So that's the beautiful thing about Australia. You are in the future. Okay, when you are in Australia, you are in the future. Yeah, it's really interesting that like Japan boasted of the rising sun. All right, but Australia is actually the rising sun. Okay, we get to see the sun before Japan does. I think Japan is behind us 1 hour. So yeah, so we have this contention. There's also an Aussie rising sun pride here. So it's something that people pride in. Yeah, so yeah, I'm here. Anyone wants to ask any more questions? This will not be my only video. I'll keep coming here when I find new ideas to share with you guys. I am really serious about, you know, helping my people, you know, people that look like me. I'm very serious about helping us achieve greater things, you know. Change the perception about us. We are beautiful people, you know. We are beautiful people. When I see our people, I see so much beauty and joy and happiness. The world will not be here without us, you know. I pride so much in Africa, like, you know, no one can take that away from me. All right, brother. Peace out, Doug. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I will chat with you guys again sometime when time permits and when I have new ideas. All right. Peace out. Chief Drano signing out. Subscribe to the channel if you're watching this video later. And yeah, I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks, Lynn, for joining the show. And yeah, peace, stay safe, and be good. One love.